Well, there's breaking news coming in from the Pakistan Navy that claims that it has thwarted attempt by the Indian submarine to enter the waters of Pakistan. That's the big news that we're breaking. Pakistani Navy claiming that it has detected an Indian submarine trying to enter Pakistani waters and successfully foiling the attempts to do so. In fact, this is the statement that is coming out, and I'm quoting them. The Pakistan Navy used its specialized skills to ward off the submarine quite successfully, keeping it from entering Pakistani waters. And this is news coming in from Dawn News. In fact, what we're hearing is that this is the second time that the Pakistan Navy has claimed to have detected the Indian submarine trying to enter Pakistani waters since 2016. Well, the spokesperson said that the achievement is an evidence of Pakistan Navy's capabilities, which is ready to defend the country's maritime frontiers. Let me go straight across now to consulting editor Shiv Arur for more on this. Shiv, over to you. Just fill us in with all the details. What are you hearing from the Indian Navy on these tall claims being made by Pakistan Navy?
Avantika, there are only two possibilities here. Either the video is authentic, or the video is a recycled version of an old video where Pakistan, so let's go one by one. Option number two is if Pakistan has recycled an earlier video of some kind and claimed that it has managed to detect an Indian submarine. If that is the case, then obviously Pakistan is completely spooked by Sukhois in the air, the Mirages in their airspace, and they want to try and demonstrate to the world that they've been able to fend off some kind of offensive action by India in their waters. Even though, amazingly enough, the coordinates that they've provided show that this submarine is hundreds of kilometers away from Karachi or from Gwadar. Keeping that aside, let's assume in the outside chance that this is actually an authentic video, then my information suggests that if in all respects this video is authentic, and I have my doubts very strongly at this time, because after all it is Pakistan's propaganda machine that's put out this video, then this submarine happens to be about 500 kilometers away from Mumbai, which is its home base, Avantika. 500 kilometers is not a long distance for the INS Kalvari, which is India's first Scorpion class submarine. There's no reason for it to surface other than if it wanted to play some kind of psychological mind games with Pakistan and basically say, look, you can see me now, here's a reminder that I can be deployed here. I've got long range missiles that can hit your ships, that can hit your land installations, and therefore I want you to be spooked by my presence here. It's power projection and muscle flexing. That's the outside chance.
Interesting. Hamza Amir is also joining us. Hamza, what are you hearing about these claims being made by the Pakistani army that they've detected the Indian submarine? They, in fact, have even said that they used some very specialized skills to send away the Indian submarine.
The Pakistan Navy spokesperson has said that they detected the Indian submarine, and the Pakistani Navy's airplanes were already airborne, so they had the visuals of them as well. And they said that the marine was trying to enter into Pakistani waters when it was intercepted, and they were warned that basically forced the submarine to actually push itself back from Pakistani waters. This comes at a time when Pakistan Navy also claims that it is a second attempt from the Indian submarine to enter into Pakistani waters, while yesterday Pakistan Army claimed that there was an attempt of a missile attack foiled at the Cholistan border by the Pakistan Army itself, because they also intercepted that also. So Pakistani Navy basically saying that even though it had the target in sight for the submarine to be attacked, yet they did not do so, because they believe that Pakistan is looking forward towards peaceful movement forward, while any interception attempt by the Indian side will be taken care of and will be given a response.
Right. Gaurav, your take on these tall claims being made by the Pakistani Navy. It's interesting, it's coming at a time when, the Indian Armed Forces' high level of alertness was successful in foiling the attempts of Pakistan, attempted retaliation that had eventually sparked that aerial dogfight. And now these claims being made by Pakistan's Navy that they have successfully thwarted the attempts by an Indian submarine and have, turned it back.
Avantika, very clearly, Pakistan, prima facie, it appears rather spooked by India's actions. And remember, just a couple of days back, apart from Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Nanba, Indian Navy has also been saying that Indian Navy is prepared and Indian Navy is deployed. This sends out a very strong signal, and as Shiv very rightly pointed out, a submarine cannot be seen unless a submarine wants to be seen, especially a submarine like the Scorpion class, like the INS Kalvari. It has a long endurance, it has long range missiles. Well, according to these coordinates, as Shiv was pointing out, it's several hundred nautical miles off the coast of Karachi when seen. So this clearly appears to be India's power projection, and Pakistan is spooked. This also means, from what sources have been telling India today, that all commercial tankers and ships coming into Pakistan, into the port of Karachi, their insurance rates go up, their risk goes up, and consequently prices go up. So this is clearly not good news for either for Pakistan Navy or for Pakistan's economy, India's power projection in the Arabian Sea.
Absolutely, Shiv. But the naval chief did warn that there are reports of these terrorist activities and the terrorists who are being trained, to carry out operations out into the seas. So obviously the Indian Navy is on a very high state of alert, and they would be also very watchful of all the movements and developments that's happening across the seas.
I can tell you for a fact that the Indian Navy is on a maximum state of alert, or many of its warfighting assets are deployed or in a state of readiness. There was a massive a Tropex exercise that was there in the Arabian Sea that went under a strategic pause because of the hostilities that had actually broken out. So whether it is submarines, whether it's ships, whether it's your aircraft carrier, everything is on alert, and this is not some kind of threat that anybody is making to Pakistan. When you're in a hostile situation, all your warfighting assets are obviously going to be on on a readiness platform. Now, having said that, I just want to point out because there's an increasing sense that Pakistan may be pulling out old videos to try and suggest that it is some kind of dada in the maritime domain. The actual funny thing, Avantika, is that Scorpion submarines, India's Kilo class submarines, India's HDW Type 209 submarines patrol these waters very, very frequently. And if the coordinates that have been put by the Pakistanis themselves in that video suggest that this submarine was hundreds of kilometers away from Karachi or from Gwadar, means these submarines were legitimately in international waters. So Pakistan claiming that they were thwarted from entering Pakistani waters is a little self-contradictory and also a little funny, because these are in international waters. The Indian Navy openly claims that our submarines patrol those waters. So for them to say, we've detected you here and we haven't allowed you to enter Pakistani waters, it smacks of a little desperation at this time.
All right, absolutely. Gaurav, do you think that this is just an attempt right now, to make all these tall claims and all of these statements for the domestic audience in Pakistan? Because India has led a coordinated effort to mount maximum global pressure on Pakistan in the wake of what happened in Pulwama, and there's in fact a lot of global pressure on Pakistan right now, with them being left with no other option but to de-escalate tension and to return our pilot as well. So do you think this is just to placate the audience in Pakistan that they're putting out such statements?
This is for the first time after 1971 war that within Pakistan there are questions being asked of the Pakistan army. Remember, in the 1971 war also, till the last day, till the surrender at Dhaka, Pakistan was claiming that it's right next to Delhi, and suddenly Pakistan collapsed and there was surrender at Dhaka. Similarly, even today, while Pakistani media may try to give out that impression that the Pakistan army is batting on the front foot, people within Pakistan are asking their army the question, how could Indian Air Force come in so deep at Balakot, strike and go back, and Pakistan could do nothing? Secondly, how is it that Pakistan Air Force aircraft, they were detected and targeted? Because internally within Pakistan, there is a realization that a MiG-21 Bison brought down an F-16, even though Pakistan may not want to admit it. So like it may have hidden dead bodies in Kargil war, they cannot hide bodies of pilots, and that is where uncomfortable questions will be asked, especially on social media, and the international isolation of Pakistan. So there is some kind of chest thumping on the part of Pakistan, but it will not get them anywhere in the world, because genuine questions are being asked of Pakistan. How long will it remain a state sponsor of terror? How long will that inaction against Hafiz Saeed and Maulana Masood Azhar be considered productive for the Pakistan army but counterproductive for the nation?
Okay, we also have with us a strategic affairs analyst, Sushant Sareen, who's with us. Good afternoon, Mr. Sareen. What are you making of this? and the Pakistan media has lapped up this video from the establishment there to suggest that Pakistan has somehow thwarted an attempt by an Indian submarine to get into their waters. The coordinates suggest it was quite a distance away from Karachi and Gwadar both. There are videos of this kind that have been released earlier. We are still, going to do a fact check of whether it's the same video, in which case the Pakistan media has been sort of fooled by the establishment. But your initial reaction, sir?
Shiv, I suspect that I don't know the veracity of this latest spin which the Pakistanis are giving, but I suspect that there is an element of some amount of panic from the Pakistani side. There is also some kind of mind games underway. So it's not just about this submarine. Yesterday there was a whole lot of this stuff doing rounds on Pakistani television channels and Twitter that the ISI had got wind of an Indo-Israeli plot to launch a missile attack. Now Israelis would be involved in a BrahMos missile attack on some terror camps, and then the ISI warned India. So these kind of stories are going around. Now, what I suspect is that what the Pakistanis are trying to do is use informal channels to convey to India that in the event that some kind of a strike like this was to happen, there would be a riposte from the Pakistani side. The way I look at it is that the Pakistanis are jumpy, they are panicky, they are not sure what India might do next. Whether what kind of an escalation might happen or might not happen. So they're trying to forestall some of the possibilities and trying to signal that, they are very much in the fray, which actually is not a bad thing from an Indian's point of view, because it means they're very jittery, they're very jumpy. And if we are keeping them a little unsettled, I think that's the right way to deal with these fellows. Let them keep wondering what the hell is going to be happening next. And let them keep, throwing their threats around. But on this latest submarine thing, I don't know whether actually something like this was happening. And if indeed the Pakistanis were able to track an Indian submarine into their waters, that might not be a bad thing, because then that would also give us a feedback. If indeed it has happened, then that also gives us a feedback on how to make sure and how to disguise our submarine operations in a way that the next time round when we actually want to do something inside Pakistan, they cannot detect some of these platforms which make a foray.
Mr. Sarin, just stay with me for a moment. We also have Pakistan's strategic affairs analyst Kamar Cheema with me. Mr. Cheema, just for the sake of argument, let's assume that this video is authentic. Strictly for the sake of argument, if you take the coordinates of the location of the submarine that Pakistan claims to have detected, it is about 300 to 400 kilometers away from Karachi, nowhere close to Gwadar, international waters. Why is Pakistan claiming to be thwarting the submarine from entering Pakistani waters? Our submarines are in that place practically every day.
Well, I think, let me tell you that Pakistan's security is at the highest guard since, 14th February. But one thing we want to tell you is definitely we have been telling the international community that we are not out of woods right now, because we still feel that India's aggression has been there. India has been an escalated. India has been on the escalation ladder. So right now what we want to tell you that all our mayors are defensive, and right now we are telling the international community so that they can stop Prime Minister Modi, that do not follow this escalation ladder, do not go into it. I think Pakistan's mayor are defensive. Just to tell you, even on the 27th and 28th night, when there were chances that there could be a strike from where Israel and India might go for a strike from the Rajasthan. So all the measures we are taking is the defensive measures, and we are just telling international community and engaging you and engaging your public as well to take Prime Minister Modi to the task, and do not ask him or and make him to the point that this is not the time of the aggression. And I think one of the things that has been positive is that the Indian public, the political parties have realized that this national security is being used for the petty political goals. And this is what we are trying to make the case.
Right, sir.
to
But
international
Pakistan's bid was also foiled due to a very high state of alert and readiness by Indian forces, and that is evidence as to how your jet was shot down by our MiG-21 Bison in retaliatory fire. But kindly stay on with me. Our executive editor Gaurav Sawant would also like to ask you a question. Gaurav, go ahead.
Kamar Chima, you know, from what you say, your state is on the highest state of readiness and your combat air patrols are in the air and your ships are out. Tell me this, why is Pakistan doing all of this and yet not taking action against Hafiz Saeed and Maulana Masood Azhar? Are terrorists so dear to your country that you refuse to act against terrorists but are willing to be bashed up by India, sir?
Well, I think Pakistan has been very clear and open-minded in this discussion that this is a national action plan which Pakistan has to implement. One, this is the FATF Financial Action Task Force, which Pakistan has to fulfill the international commitment. And I think there must be a perspective that we are not doing it for India. India must not bring this in mind. We are fulfilling our international compulsions.
But you are not, if I may, Kamar Chima, if I may, the Financial Action Task Force just told you that you are not doing what you are supposed to do. The Financial Action just last week has told you that you are not doing what you are meant to do. That is why you are still on the Financial Action Task Force grey list. So why is it, and I humbly ask you, sir, why is it that your country will not crack down on the likes of Maulana Masood Azhar and on Hafiz Saeed and yet be treated as an international, if I may use that word, an untouchable because of your support to terror, sir?
I think just, first of all, we are not going to do anything for the sake of India. We are doing it for the peace of international community and we're doing it for the peace of ourselves, one thing. Second, what I want to tell you is that just last night, Pakistan has just released that such kind of organizations which have been performing outside the purview of the state, which are not working as per the mandate of the UN Security Council resolutions and not working as per the mandate of the Pakistan's law, will be taken to the task. So this is something very much clear. This is on the card. The government is doing it. But if you just link everything with the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hafiz Saeed, without evidence you are talking and nothing you are proving, then I think the international community have realized that this is national security goals vis-a-vis the political objectives. We didn't tell us. This is the Congress is talking, 21 parties are talking, your own people are talking, your media is talking. So forget Pakistan.
I am sorry, Kamar Chima. I don't think you are reading the writing on the wall. The OIC told you to crack down on terror. Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, told Imran Khan to crack down on terror, and your Kashmir bogey is finding no mention anywhere, whether it is the OIC or British Prime Minister Theresa May. Just day before yesterday, in her conversation with Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, she said crack down on terror. So, sir, Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, is telling you to crack down on terror. The US President is telling you to crack down on terror. Mike Pompeo is telling you to crack down on terror. Will you crack down on terror, or will you again take only sham action against terror? Put them on some kind of watch list and not register an FIR against them and not prosecute them?
I think as per the OIC resolution, it is India which is going for using terrorism as a tool in Indian-occupied Kashmir. Are you going to stop this? Are you going to stop the human rights violations? Are you going to stop the jingoism? This is not.
पढ़िए तो final resolution पढ़िए. आप एक separate resolution की बात मत कीजिए. All the OIC countries passed one resolution. Kashmir finds no mention. I am sorry. Don't read something that comes out of some madrasa newspaper in Pakistan. Please read international newspapers and magazines which have very clearly said no mention of Kashmir in the final resolution adopted by OIC. Wake up, smell the coffee, act against terror. Avantika, that is what Pakistan needs to do.
All right, Mr. Chima, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining us. But just look at the statements coming out from the Pakistan Navy, Shiv. These kind of statements that this is the greatest achievement that has come out by the by the Pakistan Navy has been a proof of Pakistan's Navy's superior capabilities. The Indian submarine was not targeted, keeping in view Pakistan's policy of peace, urging India to move towards peace. I mean, this is clearly for the domestic audience, isn't it? When there is ample evidence to prove Pakistan's complicity in perpetuating terrorism against our country repeatedly.
Avantika, there's no question of warmongering or any emotions right now. Let's be clinically clear with the facts. India's Mirages have gone and struck on Pakistani territory in Balakot. Yesterday, you had a Sukhoi 30 shooting down a drone in the Bikaner sector. A few days before that, an Indian MiG-21 shot down what the Indian Air Force says was an F-16 fighter jet. So the level of the spooked nature of Pakistan right now is a given. They are on the back foot. They're terrified of what kind of power can be brought to bear by India against them. And the fact that an Indian submarine may or may not have been detected, we still don't know if it's real or recycled footage or whatever it is obviously for a domestic audience. This is Pakistan trying to flex muscle back at India. But again, like I said, it's a little bit childish and a little silly, because if this submarine was 200-300 kilometers away from Karachi, it is well within international waters. A submarine of this kind, which is quite new, I must say, would not surface unless it wanted to be detected as a part of mind games and psychological warfare against Pakistan. So this is Pakistan spooked. Let's make no mistake. And I also want to just tell our viewers, and I know that there are millions of people in Pakistan who are watching our live feeds on India Today. I just want to tell all of them that submarines of the Indian Navy patrol these waters every single day. They're there all the time. They're patrolling all the time. So if they've been detected, believe me, they want to be detected. And if they tried to enter Pakistani waters, they wouldn't be doing so with their snorkels above the surface.
All right, Shiv Arur, we leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us. Gaurav, Hamza, thank you both as well for joining us on the broadcast. In the meanwhile, let's also just listen into what the Union Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said on Pakistan's claims of the Indian submarine violating its waters. Listen in.
I think on these sensitive strategic issues, the naval commanders will report to you. But surely I saw one of the comments of the naval commanders that India is free to take all adequate, appropriate steps to ensure the safety of our waters.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.